All right, hi everybody. I am Steven of PhenrellPhotography, and right here we have.
My name is Kelsey. I go by SirensCraftYard on Instagram and YouTube.
Cool. And today we are going to be talking about one of our shoots that we did. It was a Valentine's Day shoot done on Valentine's Day because of amazing planning, right? Of course.
And availability.
Yes. So we're just gonna kind of talk about the overall shoot experience, maybe some of the lighting setup, and a little bit the camera gear. If anybody's really interested in that, and then we're just gonna go through the images.
Amazing. So the first one that we have here, you can see that we have a couple different props here. So first I want to talk about the props. A lot of the props came from sale items at Walmart that were already available or something you already had before.
Yep, I've had some of this stuff. Also, like with the Dollar General. And the good thing about doing the shoot on Valentine's Day and planned last minute, most of that stuff's on sale and really cheap. So I highly recommend anytime around holidays or the end of that holiday, just go shopping and get all your props. And save yourself some money.
Yeah, exactly. So wardrobe wise, this is a bodysuit that I already had that I purchased from Amazon. I had heart nipple covers that I had also have that I never used. I didn't actually in the shoot utilize the sticky part of it. I just slid it in and had to adjust it kind of each time I moved around just so they could reuse them as well. The pearl necklace I've had already from a family member. You can see part of the background here. We also had heart cutouts that we taped to the backdrop, as well as helium balloons on the side. We have a teddy bear and some roses. If you want to talk about the backdrop a little.
So backdrop, just got some curtains from Amazon. Got a bunch of them so you could get all the folds together. Because if you only got two, they'll be stretched out. So I want to get a bunch to get the nice folds in there. One thing I recommend though, if you ever get these, definitely steam them or iron them, because like there you'll see a nice crease in there from them being folded, which I already knew and took care of in post. But if you don't want to do that, just go ahead and get rid of those lines already. Also for this with the props, I just wanted a lot of red. The inspiration image that I saw online, essentially somebody just with a bunch of red around them, but they're like the long theater curtains, and right now we're not inside of a theater or did we shoot in one, but kind of wanted to get that nice red or Valentine's Day vibe.
Yeah, amazing. So this next photo here, you can actually see a little bit more of the set itself. We had some different colored balloons on the floor, which I actually taped with painter's tape so that they wouldn't move around and would stick in place. We have our helium balloons, which were held down by weights. And we had a couple different sizes of helium balloons as well. We layered them to give some dimension, and you can see still the backdrop and the hearts along the backdrop as well. We want to talk about set?
Talking about the lighting.
Lighting, yeah.
Yep. So for the lighting kind of stayed the same for a majority of the images. I had a 36-inch octobox, about 5 to 6 feet away from the model, and I either put the light straight on, or I would have moved it either to the left or right, depending on how I wanted the shot. Also behind the backdrop, pointing back down at the model, acting as a hair light, I had a bare bulb flash shooting directly there. And then on either side of the model in the back, I had two rim lights that I used them for some shots. I didn't use them for every single shot, just kind of how I felt when I was taking the pictures. And that's generally the lighting. Normally I like to use a one light setup, just keep it simple, but sometimes you just have to use more than one light.
Yeah, I think the light that's shown up from the top, you can kind of see it here in my hairline as well. Just kind of added extra dimension because we wanted to have dimension in the shot as well, to kind of give space, not like super squished up. Pose wise, you can see like the first one, it's pretty simple. A little tease of the hair, gave some angles with the elbows, a little pop of the knee as well. I think it's really nice how the light bounces off the top of my booty, so that gives a little dimension as well and gives curvature to the body, which otherwise could look pretty straight if it wasn't posed in any way. Yeah, so this one was pretty comfortable. Yeah, great.
And then the next shot, this is like much tighter in. We added some more props. I want to get like everything together and just put her more in the center of the frame instead of pulling out and doing the far shot.
Yeah, I think in this one we had to move everything down as well so we could get onto the floor. But here we added props, as you said. We added the roses, we added flowers, we added some teddy bears, we added some heart shapes, as well as we actually even brought down the balloons.
Yes.
Actually, the helium balloons, thinking about it, we had to tie them around the weights to kind of keep that dimension there, but get it to the floor. So we had to like de-elevate everything. All of the materials kind of came from Walmart or Dollar General, except the flowers in the front, the white ones, those actually came from when I got married a while ago, which I thought was just kind of fitting for the shoot, just to add some additional color and some extra meaning to it for myself. Though I'm not married anymore, the flowers were there meant for marriage and for love as that well. So in terms of the pose, though, it was actually inspired by another model, Lois Please, I think it is. And maybe she got it from somebody else, I don't know, but I saw hers and I screenshotted it and I was like, this is definitely a pose I want to do. This one was probably the most difficult pose out of all the ones in this photo shoot, just because it is really on the floor. I am wearing heels. I'm propping myself up on my hip as well as my hand and arching my back, having my head back as well, and trying to make it look effortless, though there was a lot of effort going into this one. So I am kind of raised off of the ground just a tiny bit, so if I'm not squished onto the ground. One note for any models doing this pose or any kind of pose on the floor is to have a mat underneath the floor covering to help give you some squishiness and help protect your bones, because unfortunately we didn't include a mat in prepping this, and it actually was pretty harsh on the body and probably fatigued my modeling more than it needed to have, and that's something we since learned to include in all of our shoots.
I recommend going to Home Depot or Ace or Harbor, any of those hardware stores. They usually have the mats. They're pretty cheap, the interlocking ones. One pack is 4 mats, just perfect. Usually most people don't need any more than that. And what you do is just lock them together, throw your backdrop over it, and then your model's comfortable. And they don't sink down so far, so that way you still have the nice like flat surface or hard surface, not as hard as the floor. One other thing I want to bring up is if you look closely at the images and look at the balloons, you can see the reflections of the lights to kind of get an idea of where the lights were placed. Again, just like the previous 2 images, the lights were kind of in the same spot. The only difference is they were brought down a little bit, only because she's on the floor rather than standing.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So this next photo, these aren't shown in order of which we took them. But this one is standing up. I feel like, though, the balloons aren't as tall as they were originally.
I think
this might have been a mid.
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, like just kind of like a random, like, oh, let's try this. So the balloons obviously are one of the main features. I also have a tinsel jacket as well that I bought at Party City that was going out of...
out of business?
Thank you. Yes. Out of business, as well as the balloon, the bubble wands. Yeah, there's a lot of B words in this photo shoot. And so we actually had a kind of a hard time making sure that we got all the bubbles that we wanted. And we would have loved to have more bubbles, but it's actually, I don't know if it was the quality of the bubbles because it was just, some cheap thing, but we wanted to have them cascading as well as up as well. So it was very difficult to kind of get the both in that. There was a lot of breath work involved in trying to get the bubbles in the wand as quick as we needed to, at least to have some, movement with the bubbles. But here it's not very sexy, but it has a little sexiness with the thong and the exposed stomach and things like that as well. So I like that it's not terribly overly done. It's just kind of cute and fun, and just with the added movement of the bubbles and balloons.
We kind of just threw the bubbles in there. We're like, hey, we have it. Why not just try it? No harm in trying anything.
Yeah, exactly. We just had a bunch of stuff on the table. There's probably 50% of props that we didn't even use, to be honest. And we just kind of pulled whatever felt right in that moment, which is kind of part of the beauty of it. Obviously posing was very easy, just stood there, but the breathing and getting the bubbles were, so it was a little stressful to make sure that we could get to it, but I think it was fine.
I I recommend getting a bubble sheet.
Yeah, a bubble machine next time. Yeah, for sure. We have the fog machine.
Yep.
And now we need the bubble machine. So yeah, okay. Good. Next one.
All right, this image, when I went to a store, I saw a giant Valentine's Day card. I haven't seen it before. And I was like, cool, let's use this. So then I got that. One thing to note about the card, it had a really big like white spot on there. So I just photoshopped that like flower in there just to you don't have a big white thing on the screen, just to change it up a little bit. For this setup, the differences between the previous ones, I threw like the air mattress in there. Which, if you already use an air mattress in your shoot, I highly recommend putting something flat on there. I had some cardboard that I put down, and it just stops the model's like arms or limbs or whatever from sinking deep into the mattress. Yes, there'll be a little bit of sinking because it's an air mattress. Also, we threw in a few more props, just keeping with the whole everything red theme. What do you have?
Yeah, I think in this photo, I was actually wearing clothes behind the card. The shoes belong to me. You can tell that they're worn out and used, at least, because a lot of the props, just came from from stuff that we already had at home. We had silk sheets, which was nice. Again, with the posing itself, it looks kind of like I'm laying there, but there was still I still had to use my muscles to kind of prop myself up because, again, the air mattress plus the cardboard wasn't a full hard surface, right? So kind of did a couple different poses this way, but I really love the idea of the kind of curiosity of what's behind the card. I had that question asked to me by people who viewed the photo after the fact, and it just kind of gives a sense of sweet seductiveness rather than like raunchy seductiveness, which is kind of the goal of the shoot. We didn't want to have something that was overly sexual, but something that was just kind of cute and fun for the holiday. And I think we achieved that in these photos.
Yes.
So yeah, we added things like teddy bears and pillows to the bed itself, and there was roses, but they're kind of hard to see because they're red on red. There was a lot of red going on. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
This one, so the light that I had in the very back, the backlight, I was just like, hey, let's see how it looks with just that light, and it gave a nice silhouette, highlights on the balloons, and adds a little bit of mystery to the image, especially for Valentine's Day, because you normally don't see images like that.
Definitely. So what I really love about this photo is it's kind of an after the party, after the excitement kind of scene where it kind of shows the downtime of all of the fun playfulness of the rest of the shoot, which is included in the storyline. Really, since we're not using this for any sort of specific reason, I think part of doing this is nice when we do create a story, and this is an image that was just captured that kind of just gave a little bit of a backstory to it that added an element of, like you said, mystery or relaxation or downtime that you don't get to see, I think, all the time when looking at stuff on Instagram or in magazines and things like that, where this kind of image wouldn't show up anywhere else, but it's part of the situation. And I just really love how quiet it is, despite still having all of the fun festivity props around as well. So obviously I'm just kind of squatting there, and I was taking a break from probably posing at that time, to be honest, and maybe we were also testing the lights or moving things around a little bit, and that I ended up choosing one of these photos to be in the finals just because I loved how quiet it was in between all of the other excitement. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and then this image really been inspired by Renaissance paintings, and I have quite a few books and I was looking through them. And also this image happened because of an accident. When you're firing off your flash too much, the recycle times. So because of that, the flash didn't get a full power that I had set at, and it was kind of dim, but I realized I really liked how that effect came out. So instead of going how it was before, we said, hey, let's go this route. And then we also used a tool to throw it on the model here, and gave that nice Renaissance look.
Yeah, for me as a model, one of the themes that I really am interested in is finding a Renaissance-esque type of photography. And I think what is so interesting about this is because Renaissance paintings, they feel like accidents. They feel like it was a moment captured, and this was really a moment captured that was by accident, and it made it real in that moment because of the dying flash. And we have other photos that are much more brightly lit, but I love how subtle and quiet and mysterious this is, because you have to really look into it. You have to really look to see what's happening here, and I find that is common in Renaissance photos. And the pose and the tool and everything is much more sultry, and I like that it's been subdued by the darkness as well. You can kind of see it here, and I know it, so that makes me love it, but we were also sprinkling rose petals from up down, because he had been on a ladder to take from up down, and so he was sprinkling and for taking photos at the same time. And so some of the other photos, it's a little bit more obvious, but you can still see here, if you look closely, the petals as well. But obviously my outline and the shape and the darkness of my nipples tell the story in and of itself. And then these other elements soften it with the petals and with the tool, and the darkness soften the intensity of what could be maybe too much of a sexualized situation. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite of the shoots. I really love the other photos, but this, this could go on my grave. I love it so much, I just think it captures such like a quiet beauty or a quiet moment that feels realistic to me. So yeah, that was our Valentine's shoot.
Yes. This will be the first of quite a few shoots. We will be going into more detail. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask, post in the comments. I'll be happy to answer, or she'll be happy to answer questions. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, like and subscribe. You can find us both on Instagram, PhenrellPhotography, PH.
Yes, Phenrell Photography.
And SirensCraftYard, also obviously on YouTube, where you might be watching this video. And yeah, if you want to keep in touch with us, do so. And thank you for watching. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.